This week, the annual vote for baseball's Hall of Fame was held. The Baseball Hall of Fame is in Cooperstown, New York. And every year, sports writers vote to see who will be the next class to enter into the Hall of Fame. This year, there were several people, again, former baseball players on the ballot, but no one was selected. And what's unusual about this, it's not the first time it's happened, Gary, but there were at least two players on the ballot for the first time who, because of their records, would have been shoo-ins for first ballot entry into the Hall of Fame, but because there was the allegations that they used performance-enhancing drugs, steroids, to enhance and to juice up their performance on the field, there is a very strong feeling among sports writers who cover baseball that they should not be in the Hall of Fame, and they did not make the first ballot. I wonder what that says about our society, about sports, and American culture as a whole.
You know, it's interesting because if you look at the NBA or the NFL, those same standards aren't always held to. And I think it's because in the NBA, they let the rules slide so much, even during a game. The rules are not enforced. In the NFL, you know, in those pileups, people are biting each other and poking each other in the eye. There's all kinds of things going on. But somehow baseball was seen as the last of the pure sports, I think, by a lot of people. The last sport that held to a certain high standards.
Well, it has always been called America's pastime. And, of course, that has been eclipsed perhaps by NFL football, and people can debate that back and forth. But there has been a mystique about American baseball that I think still has a hold, at least among a group of sports writers who make these decisions. And one wonders, as time goes on, some of these sports writers perhaps will no longer be voting. If attitudes would change, maybe these issues will not be issues for future votes. But I'm just thinking as to what it says about right and wrong and standards and a sense, at least, of fairness in a society, and what we're seeing in this tension here and the debate about that.
Well, when you look at the beginning of college sports, the reason college sports was started, basketball, especially football, was because they thought it would teach young men character. And so they used the game to teach character, sportsmanship, teamwork. That's not why it's played always today. It's played, especially in the professional level, for money. And so what we look at, baseball is also played for high contracts, lots of money, very, and television contracts. So what we're looking at is a deterioration of a concept of standards.
Yeah, and I do think that among many circles, it did cease to be just a game a long time ago. But I think it's important that we take note of what has happened and draw some lessons from it in terms of fairness, purity, right and wrong, and godly values when it comes to even how we conduct ourselves in matters of game, sport, and the whole of life.
Yes. Character.
Character, yeah. SBT Daily. Join us next time.